Okay, I'm I just tried to make a video and I'm making another video on this. This is a video about a two-tier capacity charge. It's about a four-part tariff for a wonderful old classic PPA that's frankly a whole heck of a lot more difficult to model than a solar project or something like that. Okay, and it's really about sizing or computing a capacity charge where the debt service fits underneath the first tier of the capacity charge, and the second tier is enough to give you a target IRR. So let's say I want to target IRR of 7%, equity IRR. Let's say I have some more debt. Let's say I can make uh, my DSCR, my debt a little bit higher, then I'm making my second tier capacity charge lower because I'm getting enough cash flow from here. If we put a lower DSCR here, then I can afford to get a higher DSCR. Whoops, and then I finally run out and it kind of starts over for me, which is kind of sucko, but um, then you have to kind of start over. Now it's about this video is about how do we make these kind of goal seeks, and more importantly about really how capacity charges work, and most important of all about how this essentially amounts to reverse sculpting. It's really just going backwards and sculpting, and most important of all, what's going on to the levelized cost of our capacity charge when we do this. So if we reduce our equity IRR, of course the capacity charge goes down. If we increase the debt percentage, then uh, we're having we're getting our equity IRR from the excess over the debt service in both of these. If we increase it, we can put less equity in and get a lower. And you can see, I hope that the capacity charge is going down. Now, if we reduce the DSCR, then we get an extra pop here. And then of course, if we make the debt tenor longer, reduce the IRR, increase the I'm trying to increase the uh, debt percentage, and I hope our capacity charge, I think it was over 600 before, is going down. So in this video, I'm going to explain this is all a goal seek that sets this tier 2 capacity charge to be really low. Now, one of the most interesting things about these tier 2 capacity charges, if you could get really this kind of aggressive financing, if I put this down, oops, is that when this is too low, here's what people do. This is like an option. We have an option to escape. We have an option to get out of things, which is the main option you always want. That's really what any option is. Just about any option is about. And if the operation and maintenance expense goes up here, we just run away. Abandon the plant. Somebody else comes in and says, "Oh, I need a much higher capacity charge to make this work." So the consumers end up paying twice if you have a really big step down. So there's an issue with this. Okay, now the second thing we can do is just set this kind of capacity charge just from a simple project finance IRR. So in this case, I hope, excuse me, I didn't do that right. I'm going to go to the financial model. If we set this from the project IRR, we can just see what kind of capacity charge we need here. Now, in this case, we can make the second tier just a percentage of the first tier capacity charge. It's a different way to do this. Now, once you've kind of finished, let's say we go to back to this one, this method, okay, and we put a whole bunch more debt in, okay, and we make the debt much longer. Look at, I'm above 600. I want to kind of get down, and I want to put a higher debt percent in, and eventually I want to put a lower DSCR in. I want to make the debt really long. Okay, I'm starting to get low. Low. Oh no, somebody's knocking at the door when I have a video on this criminal. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna make it even longer. No. Make even more debt. Okay, to really get a low capacity charge. Okay. And when we do that now, we've got this, and we can go to our financial model and switch it. What we just did is structure the capacity charge, come up with an optimal structuring of the capacity charge. Now what we can do after we've done that is take this capacity charge that we have here, copy it, and paste special as values. I should have maybe made a macro that does that. And then we can input this capacity charge. And once we input this capacity charge, then we can do a whole series of different risk analysis on this capacity charge and see kind of, I'm going to have to, I've got the, I'm going to calculate the sheet. And we can kind of see what our, ooh, this gives you a higher IRR than I thought. Oh, shit, just a minute. Ah, damn, I copied. I think I just swore. Excuse me for that. I promise not to swear anymore. But this gives you the capacity charge. Then you can get, then let's recalculate our table. Now, oof, we got a num in the worst case, and we've got some other things. Now, I use this to make a kind of a sensitivity chart and a value build-up chart that I'm not going to go over again. Okay, what I'm going to do is use this to kind of explain just what we did first, and then add a scenario kind of tabulator to it. So we start with our standard kind of assumptions, just a very simple CapEx. Now for OpEx, we notice I use the term actual heat rate, actual coal plant, actual efficiency rather. We put, this was supposed to be a coal plant, and then we put in our capacity charge, and then the energy charge and the contract heat rate are different from the actual heat rate. They're not the same. The variable O&M charge is not necessarily the same as the variable O&M cost. The fixed charge is not necessarily, fixed O&M is not necessarily the same. And then we put some spinner boxes in. We start our model like we do in a standard way. We have capacity and fuel used, and then we put in our 4-part tariff. We've got capacity revenues, shift control E, energy revenues, shift control E, variable O&M revenues, shift control E, fixed O&M revenues, shift control E. That gives us our total revenues, control B perhaps, and then we get our operating expenses, and we only have 3 categories. We have energy cost, variable cost, and fixed O&M cost, which means that our EBITDA, the difference, really is covered by the capacity charge. That's why I showed you this. We take our EBITDA versus our CapEx, and we get the free cash flow, and we get our IRR, and then we do a goal seek on the IRR. Then we put some debt in, and this is where it gets a little interesting. We put some debt service in, we put a debt tenor, we put a flat debt service in, and we put a DSCR in. Now, once you get that, you can easily just take, well, here's the debt service divided by the DSCR. That's our required, in ringgits here, that's our required capacity payment. divide that by the capacity, and you get the capacity payment per year. Divide that by 12, you get the capacity payment. The capacity payment is a function of the debt characteristics. No equity IRR, nothing else. How much debt we have, and then we compute our payment function, and we get that. What that means is after the first tier, we're going to use the second tier, compute a little cash flow statement, EBITDA minus taxes, blah, blah, blah. I didn't put taxes in here. And we get our IRR difference. If you really care about this silly little difference thing, you can go to options, I guess. And it's probably a dangerous idea. I'll probably screw something up. I always put a 0 here, which I don't think is necessary. And then a 0 here. Please do not enable the iterative calculations. So if I wanted now put a little bit of a different target IRR, let's put a target equity IRR to be 7%. Ah, shoot. Couldn't go that low. And then this is exactly what I didn't want it to do. Ah, shoot. One more time. Okay, I made a really stupid mistake on purpose. Did I swear? I don't know if I just swore on the video. I hope I didn't, because I swore loudly when I turned it off. Now, what I should have done is when I copied and pasted, I should have copied and pasted from this to this. I didn't do it right. Okay, whatever. So we do a goal seek. Now, when you do the goal seeks, I have a whole series of protections in the goal seek from what just exactly happened. This is why I kind of went so nuts. Is before you do your goal seek, put a whole bunch of tests in the goal seek for what could be happening. And here, if we put a DSCR below 1 in, don't do that. If the equity IRR is less than the target IRR, you I don't know why that is. Just a minute. You can't. Well, basically, I put a whole bunch of tests in that. Oh, this is if the initial second tier capacity charge is 0, and you still get too high an equity IRR. You just can't do it. Same if the thing's too long. Now, what these do, what this does, is that this is this little drop-down box up here. We can run different goal seeks depending on, so this is just a select case, and we run different capacity charge goal seeks. Here's the 1 goal seek, 2 goal seeks, depending on which button we press up here. And it's really what this really is about, is structuring the model. This capacity charge input is really for risk analysis, and the other ones are for structuring. So it really illustrates that this model illustrates kind of how the risk analysis depends on your actual versus your contracted heat rates and O&M expenses and capacity charge and everything. Whereas for the risk that's the risk analysis. For the structuring, you're going to go and just play with this capacity charge and try to get a high IRR, more debt, blah 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 blah. So that's it. Now here's what I'm really doing with this one. Okay, I think you can take a look at it. I think the whole subject is kind of interesting. More interesting than all this expensive legal game playing with, well, this I suppose is game playing a little bit too, but with the what I was talking about in the last video, which is all this flip structuring and tax optimization and all that stuff. Okay, so again, we put this in, try to get a low LCOE to win our bid, and we can do all of this. Now, here's what, once we have our structure and we want to run different scenarios, maybe we want to run different scenarios with this one with just an input. Maybe we want to run then different base cases or low cases. Where's our total low case? Okay. And maybe we just want to run this with a different tenor then. I can't really change it here, but whatever. Okay, now what we can do is take our scenario analysis, and this time I'm going to make another reporting scenario analysis. So we go and find the scenario reporter that I've made a couple of little changes to. This whole stupid thing didn't really work again. Okay, and remember what we do, I'm repeating. We copy this sheet, I changed a couple, we select the macros, copy them, we make this sure that this stupid thing over here is a value, not a name. Okay, we attach the links, so we put our links in here from our actual model, and then we run it. So let's see how fast we can do it. Alt-EM. And let's put this into our two-tier capacity charge. Let's put it right after the scenario page, create a copy. That's step one. So we have our scenario output here. Now this didn't work, remember, because what we have to do now is go to our developer, our macros. We can press edit. Now luckily I think I have the, I don't. Yes, I have them here. This is from our other sheet, Control A, Control C, and then let's go back and put this into this goal seek place that we did it. In fact, I'm going to put it at the top because I have this little thing called public and option base 1 right at the top. Option base 1 isn't really necessary, so we press F2 and we get this. Now the next step is we have to make sure that these things are named in this sheet. So we press Shift, Control, and F3 all together and just do it from the left column. Okay, so those are our new names. All right, now let's, for this one now, we have our scenario names. Let's get the equity IRR. Why don't we get that from our scenario analysis? We can just get it from right here. Project IRR from here. I guess I have to get our, why don't we get our LCOE from our financial model. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay, and then let's get a few other things. How about we'll put, for now, let's take these operating variables, put them in here. Okay. And I think we can just use our scenario analysis to get what they are. This time we don't need a transpose function or anything else. And actually now let's also go to our financial model. How about we'll get the some of our debt parameters. So this time we'll copy this into the scenario analysis and paste it special as transpose, and we can select these and put transpose, and we can get all of our variables. Okay, so we did that. That's the kind of the longest part of the process here. Now do something important. Save it to our financial model. Maybe I'll put it right here in a little freeze pane area, and we can let's just run some more scenarios. Right now I have capacity charge with an input. Let's change this to our other method. Hope I still have an index, and I hope it doesn't go crazy. Now let's put a little bit of a lower IRR. So let's copy this one and put 7% IRR, and I hope that we have all of this. And there we have our different LCOE. Okay, and let's go back and try another one and put a what kind of, let's put a lower, oops, not a higher, let's put a lower DSCR, and it actually should put it here, and because that's the one that runs the goal seek. I should have told you that really, but now we put lower DSCR, and then we have our lower capacity charge again. I didn't copy these, I didn't take out the grid lines, oh no, and I didn't do some other things, but now let's also, I should have put at least Shift Control P here, shouldn't I have? And now let's make a longer debt tenor. Okay, and I really wanted to show you with all of this, this is, I hope it doesn't run into a, we can kind of look at our thing here. Uh-oh. Let's put a, make sure we have a little more debt here with the longer debt tenor, and get an even longer debt tenor, and push up the debt percent, and see if we can kind of really optimize this thing. Oops, you know, it's going backwards when I put too much debt in. That's kind of interesting. Oh, I ran into our place, and then I did this horrible thing, and I have to do the whole thing again. Ah, shoot. You know, I'm just going to stop there and obviously run another scenario from our financial model. That was kind of sucko what I just did. So there it is. And now what I'm going to do is save the file, and then I'm going to clear the scenarios out. When I clear the scenarios out, then we start over and try our new scenarios. So this has all sorts of different scenarios and 2 tiers. And I'm sorry about the length of the video, and I'm stopping it.